Welcome, everybody, to the road to 100 million. I am the counselor of cash, and this is the early edge. And I got to tell you, we got a packed week for you. By the way, the coach, he'll be back tomorrow. He'll be back in this seat tomorrow. But for now, it's me. And I got to bring up the recap screen before we do anything. Pretty good day. Prop stars 1 for 2. Mike McClure hits his. The sniper hits his. I missed mine thanks to the 18th hole Bramlett having a bogey on maybe the easiest hole on the course. So unfortunate there, but a pretty good day overall. But we're looking for a great day. And how are we going to do it? We're going to do it with two of my favorite people on the early edge. Of course, that has to mean it's Buckets and it's Allan Bell. Gentlemen, well, first of all, I want to start here. AB, I want to start with you real quick before we get to our marquee matchups. Just real quick. We just hit 10 million views on the early edge yesterday. And I got to say, that's a huge credit to a lot of people, of course, but you included. Obviously, you're at the top of that list. How'd that make you feel, man, when we hit that mark?
Man, it's unbelievable, right? And it just goes to show all the hard work that the entire team putting in. But for real, like, that's all organic. And what I mean by that is there hasn't been a penny spent on advertising, nothing. Like, that goes to show how strong the early edge crew is in all of this. You guys, you have no idea how thankful and appreciative we are, and you are the ones that drive it. So, my God, thank you so much. Yeah, and as you said, Sia, dude, the road to 100. Let's go, man.
Road to 100 million. Let's go. And let's go with the marquee matchups. Let's bring that up right now. Reminder, it's PGA Championship week. The early wedge will be tomorrow at 3 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. And by the way, we have a special guest back. The same special guest, Steve Scott, that was with us for the Masters. He'll be with us for the PGA Championship. You do not want to miss his insight. We're going to start here. Allan, I'm going to go to you, and then I'll say my piece here. I might have a surprise for you. But we got the Angels, Shohei Ohtani. He's at Baltimore, at Camden Yards. The Orioles, they're plus 110 at home. They're playing pretty good ball. What do you say here? Fade or follow the favorite, Shohei Ohtani, on the mound for the Los Angeles Angels?
Yeah, I'll tell you what, I'm going to fade him. Usually we would roll with the Angels here, especially with Ohtani on the mound. But you know what? The Orioles, man, not bad. Now, Rodriguez, you see here, 5.08 ERA. However, dude, the Orioles are a little slept on, man. So I'll tell you what, the Angels going all the way across the country. Yeah, give me Baltimore. I think they win this thing outright.
Yeah, I think I'm going to go with Baltimore here as well. I think maybe, I don't think I'm willing to go first 5 here in terms of like adding a half a run, which you can probably get at around minus 120. I think I may lay off that today, but I like the Orioles in an upset here. I see some sharp money kind of moving over the Orioles' way, which is a surprise, right? Anytime Ohtani is on the mound, you would think, obviously, the public's going to be on Ohtani and the Angels because, frankly, they're perceived as the better team. Any team with Trout and Ohtani. Yeah.
Yeah. And look, not to interrupt you, I was going to say, dude, you're the first 5 king around here, right? Like, I mean, you get it. Yeah. Look at Sniper right there. Ohtani last 3 starts. Yeah. They give up runs. Dude. Yeah. I'm with you, man. Baltimore here. Let's go.
And Buckets, we're going to get to soccer in a second. We're going to get to our home run props in a second. But I got to hear from you, man. I can't keep you silent. Are you going with Ohtani or are you going with us on the Baltimore Orioles of all teams?
Well, Sia, to start, I'm a little bit upset that you didn't even introduce me this morning. You didn't say good morning, how are you, nothing. So I'm a little bit spiteful right now. Oh, okay. So obviously I have to go against both of you here because I did just Google what does ERA mean. And I learned that means earned runs allowed, which you don't want to be a high number. And I'm seeing 2.74 and 5.08. Give me the Angels, I believe is the team name, Sia.
All right. The Angels is, in fact, the team name. John Buckets, he's batting 1,000 right now. Okay, we've got a big game in hockey. Let's bring up the next game here. We got the Seattle Kraken at the Dallas Stars. It's game 7. This is going to be intense. Listen, if you're not into playoff hockey, all you need to do to get into it is watch this game. Any playoff hockey game is great, but game 7 in the playoffs, there's really nothing like it from an intensity standpoint. It is a hold your breath moment for 2 to 3 hours. Allan, I'm going right back to you. Dallas is minus 210. Seattle plus 160. Where are we at?
Yeah, man. All right. So I have a play on this game. So I'm not going to go too terribly deep into that because we're going to talk about it in a second. That being said, game 7. All right. Everything on the line here. Now, Buckets, here's a trivia question for you. Okay. You ready?
Yeah.
These two teams have now played 9 times this season. How many times has the over hit?
AB, I'm going to guess all 9 here.
You are correct, sir.
All
9. Yep. All 9. I'll tell you what. The Stars, I take them to win the game. but I'm not betting minus 210. So you're going to have to look. If you want to play the Stars, there's other ways to go about doing it, but just fading or following, I'm following the Stars. They're a better team overall at home, should handle their business. That being said, I'd look another way other than minus 210.
Yeah, Allan, is one of those ways the race to 2, because I believe you had a bet on that just a couple of days ago, maybe not with this game, but with another game. Is that, and I'm not asking you to make the call, but is that one of the ways to kind of get different and maybe get the juice a little lower?
Yeah, 100%. No, it's a great question. Also, for anybody that, is a soccer bettor, right? So in these hockey games, you can also bet both teams to score. Now, you've got to do it generally. Yeah, you've got to do it like both teams is like, if, for example, this game right here, both teams score 2 goals is, I believe, around minus 185. You can also, on Caesar Sportsbook, you can bet, a double way. So like Stars win and both teams to score 1 goal is like minus 120. It's actually a very attractive way. Yeah. So if you're looking for ways like that, 100%, you can definitely do it and get some of that juice down for sure.
All right. Absolutely love that. Let's bring up our next marquee matchup. I am very interested in this game. And frankly, this is going to, I've got 2 first fives for you today, by the way. By the way, hit the like button if you haven't already. I think this is such an interesting game. We'll talk about it in a second, perhaps, but we have Patrick Corbin on the mound. That has nothing to do with this game. But Allan, I kind of think Noah Syndergaard might start getting into that sort of Patrick Corbin category. And I'm not sure yet, the jury is still out, so to speak, but almost like that Matt Harvey category at the end of his career, where it's just like, he's just a bet against. Now, I know you're going into LA, and that's a tough place that their bats are getting healthy, pretty good against righties. With that said, I think Pablo Lopez is pretty good. So let me ask you, are we fading or following the favorite Los Angeles Dodgers at home tonight?
Yeah, I tell you what, man, I'm going to fade them. I'm going to roll with the Twins here. Now, the problem is the Dodgers, as we all know, can mash. And when they get hot, they get hot at the plate. But I'm with you, dude. Like, I'm not big on Syndergaard at all. No. And the Twins, they can mash too. So, yeah. Let me roll with Minnesota here.
Yeah, and again, I have a first 5 pick on this, so I'll just kind of wait to give that one out. But I'm certainly leaning with Allan. Buckets, are you going against us again? Or are you going to go with us with maybe the Twins beating the favorite, the Dodgers?
So I'm going to go with you guys, or actually don't remember what AB said. So possibly with, possibly or against, but I'm backing the Dodgers to win here because I'm against AB once more. Sorry, zoned out while I was doing my intelligent research here over to the side. We did just see the Dodgers sweep the Padres 3-0 in that series earlier this week. So I'm expecting them to keep that momentum going forward and get another win here to start this series off. Right, Sia?
And I see, okay, by the way, Buckets, very rude to go against AB, just to go against him. I want to acknowledge the chat here. Blake Robertson says, hey, Sia, why don't you and Mike do a DFS show for golf like you did for football? Well, we still do that show for football. We actually have a show this week that I'm hosting. But I do want to mention, listen, if you follow SportsLine, if you're a SportsLine member, it would certainly be great for Mike and I to do a show perhaps, and he might appear on the early wedge from time to time. But I'll tell you this. Mike hit another outright, as everybody in the chat knows. He had Jason Day. And we did pretty well in the early wedge in terms of our matchups and top 20s, things of that nature. Almost had a Siwoo came out right. But definitely, if you're a member of SportsLine, you're getting all of Mike's stuff. That's the DFS stuff, and that's the betting stuff. And of course, my article is on SportsLine as well. It supplements the early wedge. Make sure you're a SportsLine member so you can get Mike's stuff, my stuff, and everybody else's stuff on the early edge and on SportsLine. All right. Well, listen, we got to do Pick the Prop, which I know Buckets is extremely excited for. But before we do that, let's take a break and hear a word from our sponsors.
Europe's most exciting title race continues with world-class clubs, legendary rivals, and unbelievable goals.
Brilliant! What a goal!
The Serie A lives here on CBS Sports Network and streaming live on Paramount+.
And it's time for Pick the Prop home run style. And I'll tell you, Buckets, you are certainly the soccer guru. We follow everything you do from a soccer standpoint. But I got to say, I don't know if it's luck or skill or luck, but somehow in these home run props, you do pretty well. And that's from the beginning of the season moving forward. We got Pete Alonso here at plus 300. I think he goes up against Patrick Corbin today. We got Shohei Ohtani at plus 410 against those Orioles that we talked about. And Salvador Perez at plus 290. Buckets, I got to ask you, where are you headed?
See, I can't help but notice you said luck 3 times and skill only 1 time in that introduction. So that's fine. Maybe it's lucky, but we're going to see if we can keep that luck continuing. And for me, there's only one smart choice here. And that is, of course, going for Pete Alonso at plus 300. I believe it was at the end of last week. All 4 of our SportsLine experts here on the show backed Pete Alonso. Sia, I think you even said he might get 2 home runs here. And that hit, no problem with him getting a home run. So I'm just going to keep riding that one until it dies there. Pete Alonso at plus 300.
Yeah, and if you recall, Pete Alonso actually did hit 2 home runs. It was just the second home run was on the following day, which, of course, is what I meant in the first place. I think everybody certainly understood that. AB, where are we going? We got Pete Alonso plus 300, Sohei, and Salvador Perez.
Yeah, I mean, look, Alonso's numbers historically on Corbin are, I mean, dude, it's like playing a guaranteed lottery ticket, right? Like, I mean, the dude just absolutely mashes on him. So I agree with buckets on Alonso, but for the sake of the game, look, man, Salvador Perez, dude, that's my dog. He's got the dog in him today. Let me get Perez.
Yeah, I like the Perez call. And by the way, as much as I like the Orioles, I do think Ohtani can go yard in that game. By the way, Anthony Rendon's not going to be playing in this game. I believe he's going to be put on the 10-day IL. So Trout should be back. Ohtani should be in the lineup. I wouldn't be surprised if Ohtani hits a jack, but Pete Alonso plus 300. I got to go with buckets again here against Patrick Corbin. Really like that play. So that is 2 for Pete Alonso. It's 1 for Salvador Perez, and it's kind of I wouldn't be surprised on Shohei Ohtani. So I think all 3 of these guys could probably go yard. Well, we're all going to go yard with our expert picks in a second. But before we do that, one more break from our sponsors.
One weekend in May, only the best are welcome. An invitation reserved for legendary players and future stars, challenging each other at one of the most extraordinary courses in the nation. A major moment awaits. The PGA Championship on CBS.
We're back here on the Early Edge on the road to 100 million views. Just hit the 10 million mark. Thank you, everybody in the chat, for helping us out with that. Just absolutely tremendous given how long this show has been on. It hasn't been on for a very long time, and we are absolutely crushing it. We appreciate each and every one of you watching every single day. Buckets, I think I'm going to go to you first here. And you know why? It's because when you give out soccer picks, sometimes I wonder on the recap screen, am I going to be able to pronounce these picks? So I want as much time to absorb your picks as humanly possible, which is why you're going to go first. It looks like you got 3 picks for us today. I can't wait to hear them.
That makes sense, Sia. And I tried to pick not the hardest to pronounce names here, just for everybody. It's Monday. We're all waking up, getting started. Want to take it a little bit easier. But I do, in fact, have 3 picks. And we're going to start with my absolute favorite of the 3. It's the La Liga clash between Real Betis and Rayo Vallecano. And we are, of course, taking my favorite bet of all time here. Both teams to score sitting at minus 110. We are at the point in the season where we have to start looking at matchups and looking at clubs and saying who still cares about winning and who has already checked out until the next season. Both Real Betis and Rayo Vallecano care a whole lot about this competition because both of these teams are still playing for European spots. Real Betis, if they win out the season, there's a chance that they finish top 4, while Rayo Vallecano still could grab a top 7 European spot in La Liga, but they have to win. So a draw does nothing for either side here. I expect a lot of goals, and historically, over the last 5 head-to-head matches, both teams to score has also hit in all 5 of those matches. Going to our second pick here, Sia, I am going to request a very, very small moment of silence because we are going to Portugal Primeira Liga in a matchup between Estoril Praia and FC Aroca. Whew. And we're going with both teams not to score here.
Wow.
BTTS no, which is, as AB has made it very clear here, it is one of our least favorite bets here on the show because what you're essentially rooting for is 90 minutes of no action, no goals, and very bad soccer. But when we look closely at these 2 clubs, Estoril Praia has the least amount of points accrued since the start of 2023 in Portugal Primeira, and FC Aroca is the most defensive-minded side in all of Portugal. Looking at their past 12 club games, the under has hit 12 times. In 4 of their last 5 matches, the end score was 1-0 in 4 of those 5. This is a team that will just defensively beat you up and grind this game to a halt and will be happy winning this game 1-0 every time. So I'm sorry to AB. I'm sorry to everyone, but BTTS no here is an incredible look for this match. Then going back to goals, because we got to get the energy back. We got to keep the hype moving forward. We're going to that matchup between Leicester City and Liverpool FC. And I'm going with a goal scoring angle here. Mohamed Salah, anytime goal score, is currently sitting at plus 105 across sports books. And this is great value considering that he's finally finding his form here. A very slow start to the season, not only for Mo Salah, but for Liverpool as a whole. But he has really turned things around, picking up 4 goals in his last 5 games. And they're playing a Leicester side that is relegation bound, which means Leicester, whether they go down 1-0, 2-0, 3-0, they have to keep attacking here. And Liverpool is going to rip them apart on the counterattack. At plus 105 against Leicester City with Mo Salah in form, I am taking that every single time, guys.
Love the 3 picks. Actually, I love 2 of the picks, and I hate 1 of the picks. But hey, listen, you can't always take the fun ones, right? The good cappers take the ones that are, you kind of have to hold your breath for 90 plus minutes. So don't mind that pick at all, Buckets. You know what? We'll get to my picks next. I've got 2 first fives, and they're interesting first fives. You know, Mondays can be a little tricky, especially with teams traveling. It just, you know, some insight here. I'm taking 2 teams that are actually traveling, you know, on a Monday. So, I mean, I don't really factor that in too much, but it's just something to consider. The first one is going to be Mariners first 5. That's going to be the first of these 2 games from a timing standpoint. Mariners first 5 money line minus 120. They're playing at the Red Sox. It's Houck versus Kirby. I really like what I saw from Kirby last time out. He's been pretty good. And by the way, last time out, it was against the Rangers, the same team that's averaging 7 runs a game. He completely shut them down. I'm a little worried about Seattle's bats, but I just really like this pitching matchup. I think the Mariners at minus 120 being the favorite, that tells us a lot about what this pitching matchup is. So I think if the bats are relatively even, we're going to see the Mariners prevail in the first 5. The second one, I mentioned Noah Syndergaard, Thor. He's not so much Thor anymore at this point. We have to acknowledge that. By the way, this is not a typo. It's not minus 120. This is minus 102. They are the dogs. Twins at the Dodgers. Really like what I've seen from Pablo Lopez over the last couple starts in particular. Noah Syndergaard, he effectively missed his last start. He had a cut on his finger. He's coming in now. He just hasn't looked good. Whether you're looking at the real ERA, the expected ERA, strikeouts, barrel rate, whatever you're looking at, it's not very good. Now, Pablo Lopez has been great. He might have some trouble with this very healthy now Dodgers lineup. But I think even if he gets knocked around for 1 to 2 to even 3 runs, I think the Twins knock Syndergaard around enough to prevail on this first 5. I don't think they should be the dog here. I really think they should be minus 120, just like the Mariners are. Maybe this will adjust by the time this game starts. But I'm going with Pablo Lopez here. I think this is just a dominant pitching matchup when you size him up against Thor. So give me the Twins first 5. Give me the Mariners first 5. Those are my 2 picks tonight. And Allan, you're in the maestro spot, so no pressure, but you got a couple picks for us, and being in the maestro spot, you kind of got to come through. Sorry about that.
Yeah. Hey, you know what? No pressure, no diamonds. Now look, Jeff in the chat asked the most important question on the show. Am I growing a mullet? And look at this. Oh my God. Did you see this? Look at Sharp here going hockey, Stanley Cup playoffs deep. Can't shave it, can't cut it, nothing. Get ready. All right. Now we got 2 plays here. All right. We're going to get right to it. First off, we are going to take the Seattle Kraken team total over 2.5 tonight, priced at minus 105. Look, you've seen how we've gone about in regards to the Stanley Cup playoffs and playing overs and all these different ways, right? And, race to 2, race to 3. Now, those races are fun. And we're going to get back into them when we get a new series, right? Games 1, 2, 3, 4. But they don't count in overtime. This one does. All right. I believe that the Kraken, they're a tough team, man. Like I said, the Stars should be the team that wins this one. But dude, if there's any team that can go about it, it's the Kraken. Like we said, 9 games, 9 overs here. The Kraken have covered this number in 4 of 6 games. And like I said, we have overtime insurance baked in. Now, second, we're going to go to the Braves team total over 4.5. Okay. Going against the Texas Rangers on the road. All right. The Braves averaging 5.5 runs per game on the road, and they are mashing lefties 9-4 this season. And the Rangers, their pitcher, Cody Bradford, is making his Major League Baseball debut tonight. And I cannot think of a worse team and a worse lineup to do that against with the Atlanta Braves. We're going to take their team total over 4.5.
Love it. Love both of those plays, actually. Well, gentlemen, I think it's time to bring up the recap screen. Let's see what we've got today. AB just told you he likes the Kraken team total over 2.5, minus 105. The Braves team total at over 4.5 at minus 135. I like the Mariners first 5 money line, minus 120. And again, Twins first 5 money line, minus 102. Those are first 5 money line plays. Buckets, see how I do here. Batiste versus Vallecano, BTTS, both teams to score. Praya Aruka, both teams to score, no. So that's a no, both teams to score. That's minus 115. And then Salah, ATGS plus 105. I probably messed that second one up. But if you're watching us, well, you're good to go because you just saw the recap screen right there. Ladies and gentlemen, we got a full cast tomorrow. We got the extra shows tomorrow, particularly with the PGA Championship early wedge show. We've got this whole crew on CBS Sports HQ. I noticed the sniper was in the chat as well, helping everybody out. But as far as I can tell, that's all the damage we can do. So you know what we have to do now? We have to give your marching orders. Let's take all of these tickets straight. It's over here to the pay window. For AB, for Buckets, for Jake the Snake on the ones and twos. I am the counselor, and we rest our case.